facility is, now the only thing we can do, because we don't go through it anywhere, the only thing we can do is transload something or serve a customer who's going to transload something. So the fact that transload is used in there, it's almost the only actual line of business that we're in, you know. So a transload station, or transload facility as it's defined in the Middletown Agreement, is a location where we're going to take some bulk commodity, whatever it may be, could be salt, could be beer, could be whatever. We're going to offload it from a rail car and put it into some other mode of transportation. And as it pertains to waste, the waste-related things, we're a common carrier. And if somebody has waste that they want to ship on our railroad, we can't say no. You know, if any customer, if Mr. Zito, who lives, you know, has a facility down the road, wants to ship some material on us, whether it's waste or wine or whatever it is, you know, we have an obligation to do that. But our transload facility is something that we control. And it's something where we as a company are going to decide what we're bringing into our transload. And in the Middletown Agreement, that transload facility is what is defined as something that, you know, we're going to behave in a certain manner. And then going backwards, back to a transfer station, the issue nationally that's being investigated and critically analyzed with the STB is a transfer station that a railroad operates, and they're calling it waste transload operation. And what we've agreed to with the city of Middletown is that we will not operate a transfer station as that. That's what's defined in that agreement. So the community felt good. Middletown understood, or should have understood. I don't know, there wasn't a consensus, but there was a majority. But the intent of it and the teeth of it is that we can't build a facility that is going to allow us to take in waste, transload it, and do any processing. If it comes in sealed containers, if the city of Middletown wants to ship us a sealed container, that's a different issue. But we've agreed that we're not going to do any sort of preemptive facility that doesn't have permits to take in waste, which is the national issue right now. So, but for the record, we're not going to do any waste. We don't have any desire to do any waste. It's not economical for us. It was a bad plan by a couple people who aren't here anymore, and we've given that up. It's in no way in our business plan for the Middletown, New Jersey Railroad anywhere in Orange County.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we're all happy to hear that. I mean, that's we've been reading about that for too long.
Yeah.
But any other questions from board members?
In relation to your grant proposal and so forth, I know it's in different phases and so forth. I know the question has been kicked about, so to speak, about are there any plans in connecting the railroad from where it currently stops in Unionville to some juncture point at some point in the future down in New Jersey?
You know, we thought long and hard about that stretch down to Unionville, and about a year ago I met with the chairman of the Susquehanna Railroad, and because he owns what it would connect to, and there was about a 7-mile stretch of his right-of-way, and I said, is there any way that we could get that back together for, say, commuters, something like that? And he said that right-of-way is gone and it'll never come back. There's housing developments on it, apparently a lake, and, you know, all kinds of things. That right-of-way is gone, and so we said, well, what can we do with our portion of the rail in Minnesink, which hasn't been used in the last 40 years, 35 anyway. And I would have loved to have done a scenic train, and I think that's a really nice concept. But when you really put pen to paper, and we'd have to put in, you know, $5 or $8 million into it, it'd be a very short scenic train, and it's just not economically viable. So, you know, what's probably going to happen, and I've talked to Lou Lane, Lou may be here with Minnesink, but we're probably going to pull that up for now. And, you know, I don't see in the short term what's going to happen with that, so we're probably going to pull that rail up and make it a walking trail, which I think would add to the community. I think, you know, there's enough people who would enjoy using it. And so right now, I don't see any business going on that for any foreseeable future.
Well, also as a point of reference, some of the folks here may not know. Correct me if I'm wrong on anything here. Chartwell owns the M&J, which is a short line. It starts in Unionville and ends at East Main Street by Tony Baca's east.
Right.
That's it. So anything along this rail that has to reach a destination can only go through Middletown, up and out. How's
Yeah, no, the routing, it's got to go up to, it's called the Crawford branch, and it's the Metro North line. It comes out of the city and works its way all the way up through Harriman and ends up in Port Jervis from a commuter standpoint. But yeah, that's the main line that we connect onto, and we're only served on Norfolk Southern. They're the one, they come down that line and then they pull into Middletown. They have about a 1.5 mile stretch that gets them up to there. So there's been some concern in Middletown about us operating at late hours, and Harold will tell you he's off at 5. We don't operate the trains after 5, but the Norfolk Southern comes in whenever the Norfolk Southern wants to come in. So they operate that segment and they do when they want to do it. But yes, that's the only route out for us.
Well, I think it's an interesting point. A lot of folks that aren't familiar with exactly where your rail is and what it could do, because due to its location, especially we have Supervisor of Greenville, Hosanna, anything that goes